Guys, welcome to a new Markeko Monday. Today we're going to be talking about reach and frequency. A ton of you have been asking questions on the Facebook group whether what's the difference between reach and frequency in auction, when do you use it? There's a lot of confusion as well as to how to answer those questions for the exam. It's a topic and a tool I would say that most people don't use because of the budget and type of clients that they have. And so today, what I'm going to be talking about is just explaining what the difference between reach and frequency and auction is. So when do you use it? A couple of tips as well, tools as well, like the campaign planner, and just things that you should know for the exams and things that you should know in general for reach and frequency. Because what most people use is auction. And so today we'll be talking about a couple of things as I explained. One is what is reach and frequency? When do you use it, right? Also, just what's the difference, right? How does it different to auction? And what are the main differences between reach and frequency and auction? And just in general, tools for reach and frequency that you should know. And so when you log into your campaign, your ads manager at Power Editor, you're going to see that you have two things. One is auction, which is what most people use, and two is reach and frequency. And so when you use reach and frequency, and what is reach and frequency, just in general. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about a couple of things. And so I'm going to put here reach and frequency. And I'm going to write here auction. And I'm going to talk about three main things that make the difference between both and things that you should really know. And so one is, I would say, reach. And so when you're talking about reach and unique number of users that see your ad, within reach and frequency, what you're saying is that you're fixing that, right? So you want that fixed. So if I want to reach 100,000 people, what this tool will allow you to do is really make sure that you reach 100,000 people. With auction, what they're going to say is this is the estimate, right? So yes, your audience is 100,000 people, but we're estimating that we're reaching those XYZ people. So it's not going to be 100,000, but they're going to give you a range, right? So what Facebook will do is they'll give you a range, and this will depend on the performance of your ad. The second big thing that you need to know is frequency. And so I'm going to write here frequency. And so with, again, reach and frequency, what I'm doing with frequency is I'm fixing it. So it's fixed. So I can tell Facebook I want to show my ad twice or two times within a time frame, right? So I want to make sure that people see at least two times my ad. With auction, again, this is going to be based on performance. And it's also going to rely on or depend on two variables, I would say. One is your budget, and two is audience size. And so the larger that, if you're reaching a large audience with a small budget, your frequency is going to be low. If you're reaching a small audience with a large budget, your frequency is going to be high. Obviously, this also depends again on creative, on the type of audience that you're reaching. So it's more dependent on performance than anything else. But I can't really say the frequency or how many times someone's going to see the ad, right? This is going to vary. Facebook algorithm is just going to determine that. What I can do within auction for frequency is there's an option for daily unique reach. And so what this is doing is it's putting frequency on 1 for every day, right? So I'm showing the ad once every day for a specific audience. But other than that, I can't really fix my frequency. With reach and frequency, I can. And 3, you want to know about budget, right? So with budget, again, this is going to be fixed. And yes, it's going to be estimated by Facebook. What Facebook will do is, if I want to reach 100,000 people twice for X amount of time, what Facebook will say is, well, that's going to cost you $50,000, right? And so if you want to reach twice or 2 times people within 15 days, you're going to have to pay $50,000, right? So what this does is it allows me to really calculate my budget. With auction, again, it's going to be based on performance. It'll depend on how well my copy creative is related to the audience. The better my performance is, the cheaper it's going to be. But I can't really fix my budget, right? I can set up a limit, and that's something I can do here. I can tell Facebook, well, I want to spend this amount of money, and this is the most I want to spend per conversion, or this is how I want to bid, right? So I can set up manual bidding. And with experience, you might be able to know your budget, but I can't really fix it. Like, I can't really know for sure how much money I'm going to spend. With reach and frequency, I can. And so what you want to know really is those 3 differences: reach, frequency, and budget. With reach and frequency, I can fix all of them. With auction, I can't. And so if you look at your campaign planner, and this is a tool you want to be able to use, or at least know that it exists. What the campaign planner does is 2 things. One is, as I explained, it allows me to set up a frequency cap. And so it says 3 impressions every 6 days. And so again, what this is doing is saying I can fix my frequency and I can fix the time frame, right? And what it will do is it will say, well, this is going to cost you $12,000. And so in order for you to reach 2.6 million people. So again, I'm fixing my reach, I'm fixing my budget, and I'm fixing my frequency cap. So 1, 2, 3. And what Facebook will do is it'll say, this is a graph, right, of the number of people that you're reaching, or basically the percentage of people that you're reaching, and also the budget with regards to how much money you're going to have to spend depending on the reach that you're trying to have within the audience, right? So what this is saying is, well, with $12,000, I'm going to be able to reach 2.6 million people. It's going to print the ad 3 times every 6 days from February 20th to the 28th, and this is how much money you're going to cost. It's going to cost you, right? And you're going to be reaching close to 58% of that audience. So again, this is totally different than an auction. With an auction, I can't do that. The other thing you want to know, and I would say it's probably not the most important thing, but you don't have a lot of the ads that you have within auction, right? So a lot of the ads that you have here, you're not going to have here. Yes, you have reach, you have video views, you have a number of things, but you're not going to have conversions, a couple of different things that you are not going to be able to do within auction. A couple of limitations as well that might be important to know too is audience. So within reach, you're going to be able to use core or saved depending on the name that you use. With auction, you can use core, you can use personalized, and also lookalikes, right? So that's another thing to keep in mind, that it's limited. And so the question then becomes, when do you use reach and frequency? And this is a question we get often asked a lot. When to use reach and frequency, right? And so a couple of things to keep in mind. And the obvious, I would say, is one, when you want to fix your reach. So if your client says, I want to make sure I reach all of my users, or 50,000, my 50,000 user base, you want to go for reach and frequency. The second thing, like I mentioned before, is when they want to fix frequency. So again, I want to show my ad 3 times every week. So if they want to fix that, you want to go for reach and frequency. And 3, when you want to make sure that you fix your budget, or in other words, that you spend your budget, right? So you want to you want to know that 50,000 user base 3 times a week, it's going to cost you, I don't know, $12,000. And so your client wants to know how much they're going to spend ahead of time. It's not going to be based on performance. It's going to be based on basically knowing how much it's going to cost you. And so the main metric that you're looking for is CPM, or cost per 1,000 users, or 1,000 people reach. And so those are the 2 metrics that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for conversions. I'm not looking for interactions. It's just a matter of just make sure that you reach my user base. And this makes sense when strategically you're dealing with customers that are looking for branding. And this is a big thing, because you don't want to use this with what Facebook calls direct response marketing, or in other words, when you're looking for conversions. You don't want to use it there, right? You want to use it specifically for branding. When do you use branding? When you're looking for top of mind, right? So if I'm Coca-Cola, if I'm Pepsi, if I'm a brand that I'm looking to stay on people's top of mind, I want to make sure I use reach and frequency. The other example or situation where you're looking to use reach and frequency is when I'm looking to launch a sequence of ads. And so, for example, I want to say, well, yes, we're reaching 50,000 people, but I have 3 videos that I want to show people. And so I want to show the first one. The moment they see the first video, show them the second one. The moment they see the second one, show them the third one. And what's cool about this is that I also have a time frame here. Time frame, sorry about that. And so again, I'm fixing reach, I'm fixing frequency. I know how much I'm gonna be spending, or your client is spending basically within your campaigns. But I can also set up a sequence of ads with my marketing campaigns. And so when you can use this as well, and we've seen a lot of examples, is when you're launching new products. And so when you're launching new products specifically for markets that are mass consumer, right? So again, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, big brands. When you're looking at retail, you want to be using reach and frequency. Why? Because it's not a matter of conversions. It's not a matter of knowing how much it's costing me to engage people, how much it's costing me to have a website conversion or a lead ad. It's just a matter of making sure that I reach my audience, right? I stay on top of my users based mind. How do you achieve that? Simply with 2 things. One is reach. So the more people I reach, the better for my brand. And 2, frequency. The more people see my ad, the more on top of the more top of mind I'm gonna have with them. And so what you're looking or what you're trying to achieve with reach and frequency, it's really top of mind. It's really about branding. And so that's a quick overview of when to use reach and frequency. What are the main differences between reach and frequency and auction? Again, just think about four things. One is reach, two is frequency, three is budget. Know a little bit about the limitations. I'm not going to go into detail. There's a couple of other things, but those are the main things that you need to know. And just know when to use reach and frequency. Know the couple of rules there, a couple of situations, and just strategically when to use it. Again, thanks for listening today, guys. I hope that clarifies when to use reach and frequency, how to use it a little bit as well. Make sure you play around with your campaign planner. Make sure you also join our Facebook group. Make sure that you follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, on Instagram as well. We're posting a number of tips. We'll be posting a couple of things as well. If you have questions, ask them on our Facebook group. We're launching Markeko Mondays every Monday. Vote for a topic. If you want me to cover a specific topic as well, just vote on our Facebook group. Thanks again for following. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.